Welcome. This is a narrated experience report sourced from road.org, generated using the Lysergic Dream Engine. Listener discretion is advised. Beware of the underestimated wee Brownie. A Cannabis high THC trip report. This experience was submitted under the username Han Solo. Reported age 27. Reported gender male. Let me preface this experience report by saying, I know there are people that eat this kind of dose and don't struggle with it. This is one of my first experiences with oil weed, and I know my weed tolerance is pathetic, but that is what makes so different. The backstory. Weed had just become legal in my state, and I was one of the very few people that never tried pot going through school. My mother is schizophrenic, and I was always far too scared to take the plunge. I had done edibles maybe half a dozen times before I ate the 600mg brownie in this experience report, and overdid it once and had one regrettable experience with a 75mg edible, but it doesn't even compare. I can't provide any times on where the experience started and ends because it all happened in my sleep, and I will admit I was stupid by putting that brownie in the same place I keep actual food with my history of sleepwalking and eating. I knew my limits with weed, and I had just gotten that brownie the day before. I saw the dosage and I was astounded by how much THC was in it, and believe me when I say, I absolutely had no intention of eating the entire thing. At some point early in the morning, I walked to the cupboard, grabbed the brownie and ate it, and went back to bed, and the next memory I have is waking up in a full anxiety attack. I couldn't breathe. The walls were breathing and melting. I couldn't form sentences or even walk, I was so astronomically high. It felt like I weighed 2,000 pounds, and I was absolutely convinced I was going to die from this goddamn brownie. I knew I had to leave some sort of message for my mom, explaining how I had died, so I tossed myself out of bed, onto the ground, and proceeded to crawl to my computer. I couldn't manage to get myself into my computer chair, and I tried for Lord knows how long to remember my password, and also tried to have enough coordination to type it in. From the floor. I was so high that I was completely non-functional in every single measurable regard. After failing to get onto my computer, I gave in to the sedation forces of the brownie and just laid in the middle of the living room completely naked for an unknown amount of time until I awoke to having to use the bathroom. I crawled from the living room to the bathroom, and at this point, I still couldn't walk or function at all, so I sat on my knees and pissed in the bathtub. After that, I crawled back to the living room where I was unable to stay awake any longer. At roughly 3 AM the next day, I woke up and I could walk again, but I was still high as hell, but it was manageable. The brownie gave me the worst weed hangover in the world, which lasted a grand total of around 4 months of DP/DR, confused thinking, and bipolar depression. I absolutely never want to get that high ever again. Thank you for listening.